we're back.
Yes, we are.
We are, and today we are discussing the new movie that's on Apple TV called All of You. And, some of these reviews were thinking of them as like, oh, you saw a movie, you really want to talk about it. If you saw this movie, you're probably really looking for a friend right now.
Yeah.
And we could be that friend. So let's get into it.
Because we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about this. Now, it was kind of fun to see a new movie from the comfort of our couch and get to pause it and stuff, but we still really like being at the movie theater.
Right.
But we've loved a lot of shows from Apple TV lately, so we kind of had high hopes. And honestly, when it started and it opens with a city, panning over the city type opener, I was like, bringing me back to the good old days of, 80s romantic comedies. Not that I think this claims to be a romantic comedy necessarily, but I was like, all right, yeah, we open with a pan over whatever city they're in. This is going to be awesome. And then...
My first thought was, so, London, but when?
Okay, but overall, yes, true. But let's just let them know, like... How eager are you to talk about this movie?
Very, very.
And why?
Because, sadly, it wasn't good.
It was hot garbage.
It was so bad.
Yes.
And I really love Brett Goldstein. Mm-hmm. That was Simon. Brett Goldstein. Roy from...
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, thank you. I was blanking on the... Ted Lasso. Roy. If you loved his character, don't expect Roy in this movie.
Right. It's more like roids. I don't know. Anyway.
There's shades of natural dialogue, which I appreciated from him. Like, they kind of joke at him and Imogen Poots.
Right.
They have a kind of natural jokey, which I think maybe those cuts were like, they said a line, and then they went, can we try one? And they just said something funny.
There's a few times where they get to riff together. They're few and far between.
And look like they're genuinely laughing at what they just said.
Yes, we can talk about like the highlights, but let's yes. So you're saying Brett Goldstein, cool, Imogen Poots,
cool.
Interesting, Zawe Ashton, I'd like to see her in more stuff.
Right.
But I felt really sorry for all these actors, who showed up, who woke up each morning to be a part of this thing, and it was so bad.
As we've said before, or maybe not on one of our videos, no one sets out to make a bad movie, but maybe
they think it's easier than it is.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say again, kind of like Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. We have a sci-fi premise that I really feel like they are not having anywhere near as much fun as they should be having, or really, it was super lazy, like they really didn't try to pursue any of the rules of this sci-fi.
Yes, that was my thought exactly. Like, why do we have this sci-fi premise? You could drop that, and it could just be, because they just keep calling it The Test.
Right.
Well, first off, let me just nerd out here.
Okay.
So, I think I mentioned to you the movie Children of Men. That's set in the future. That was made in 2006, set in the far, far future of 2027, 2 years from now.
Oh boy.
And the buses and the taxis all had big screens on the side. Like, that's where some people are seeing the future go. Okay. It's like big flat screens just built into vehicles to advertise stuff. Well, this film starts the same. I had Children of Men vibes, like, oh no, is this apocalyptic thing about to happen? We're obviously in a near future.
Yes.
Not sure why. All the taxi cabs and the buses have screens on advertising The Test.
I would say the opening was sort of a mixture of Love Actually and Minority Report for me.
Yes.
Like, it was like a little bit, lots of scenes of people saying goodbye and kissing each other. Right. And these very persistent, probably sentient ads that are like, take it from this company called Soul Connects, and they're like, take the test, find your soulmate. Okay, so let's talk about this. What's immediately wrong with this idea?
Like, the characters just said it in such a nebulous way, like, the scientists have worked out a thing. And that's all you need to know, audience.
Right.
They've just worked it out. And now you take a test to find your soulmate.
Find your soulmate. Now, and they don't describe what that test is. Probably a urine test. But anyway, but like, Okay, so you have to take the test, but the test is optional.
And it's super expensive.
Oh yeah, it's probably kind of expensive. So who is even taking this test? And are they pulling soulmates from only the people who took the test? Or are you just going to get a notification that you're somebody's soulmate? Sorry, you should probably go meet them. But it's more like a dating app than like, oh, you're definitely going to find your soulmate if you take the test. They're trying to make it seem it's almost slightly dystopian because they're saying like, oh, it's sort of changing the rules of dating, you know.
Right.
But it's like, so
the test will do it for you.
So we've got our two characters, Simon and Laura, and they have supposedly been friends since uni, but he, in real life, is about 10 years older than she is. So I'm assuming
Ignore that.
I'm assuming he was her creepy TA who was hitting on her when she was a freshman. He was probably a graduate student.
Or he was held back. I don't know. Don't worry about that. Even though you do worry about it while you're watching it. Like, how old is he? Anyway.
So Simon is, and I looked this up to make sure I'm using this term correctly, Simon is a simp. Hardcore, textbook simp. So he is just
Skibbity.
He is all about Laura to the point that he even is paying for her test. He's super hung up on her. He only has eyes for her. She's trying to set him up with her friend.
Right.
And he's like, oh, the giant. Like, he's just kind of against most women except for her. He won't really come out and say that he's into her, but you know that she knows. And she's fine with it.
And they do genuinely act like BFFs. So they've kind of already found their soulmate. So it is staggering to think, why is she taking the test?
Why does she have to go find her soulmate? Because, again, yeah, here's the person she gets along with the best, but she's not actually trying to date him. I don't get the feeling they've even ever tried to kiss each other or anything.
Made out.
And I am categorizing her. I could find maybe choicer words for this, but my thought was manic pixie dream jerk.
Ooh,
or you
I
could
like
come
that.
up with some other final word for that. She's kind of the West. I mean, she knows he's hung up on her. She's totally fine with that. Totally fine. And there's a point where they're talking about his father. She doesn't know anything about his dad drama. So it's really been all
in the
about
years they've known
her.
each other. Right.
Yeah.
There's still secrets.
They both make fun of Andrea. Like she's trying to set him up with Andrea, but then when she invites Simon to a farmer's market, they're like, oh yeah, ugh, farmer's markets. Ugh. They seem to be bonding over that they're both like really sarcastic. Like that's something that they're bonding over. And really the high point.
And that might be just British people. British people can just be sarcastic even about things they like. And so, yeah, it does come across like they hate everything. Aren't they bonded by their friendship by being like, ugh, about a lot of things? And you're like, well, what do you enjoy doing? Jeez.
Right, but they're a bit too cool for me about all of this. And so Imogen takes the test,
Right.
gets her soulmate, and it's like, to me, it was almost like, now you have a Tamagotchi. Like, I've got to keep my soulmate alive. Hold on. Sorry, pause. I'm trying to keep my soulmate. I've got to go text him back. Like, everybody's soulmate is in another country. This even happens to Andrea later. Like, everybody gets this soulmate that's some other country, and they're texting them. And this whole thing is just
So, and
stupid.
again, they never mention what the test is, but it feels like a 23andMe, right? Wasn't that the DNA thing? Like, how do they know your soulmate's in another country? Anyway,
I know, yeah.
Future tech.
You
who
definitely
knows?
get the feeling it's a medical test and not
AI.
like a
AI
interview.
did it.
Yes, and so I don't know. I think that it seemed like whenever Simon, sorry, whenever Simon does kind of a little bit start dating somebody, she doesn't even seem to really like that, you know? She seems like almost a little, I think My impression of Laura is that she's hanging on to Simon because Simon connects her to her university self, and I don't think she wants to grow up.
Right.
And maybe,
possibly hanging on to him well, if worse comes to it and I don't find my soulmate, I got him. He's always going to be around like a sort of puppy lapdog kind of thing.
It's definitely, and this is where I guess maybe to me this movie is about wanting it all. I mean, the movie's called All of You. And I think for Laura, maybe for Simon that means I want all of you. I don't want to be your side piece, friend zone, puppy dog, or affair, guy. I think for her, she's saying, I want all of you. I want to have my soulmate, kind of not that interesting, but maybe rich and stable and obviously very accommodating and not very curious or suspicious soulmate husband. And I also want you, my bestie from uni, to go have big affairs with in remote locations. I want all of you. I don't want to have to choose.
And there was one brief conversation in the film where they get into an argument and he's like, I know all about you. And I'm like, oh, we're getting a title drop. And she's like, you don't know everything. You only see the good stuff. And again, it's kind of inconsistent, I don't know, screenwriting or director, nobody paying attention. These are supposed to be best friends from university that would know so much about each other if they are friends. So he would know some of their quirks and bad things, and she would know his.
Right.
But to get to, the third act, and they have this brief conversation to be like, I want to know all of you. You don't know all of me. All of you? Title drop. Again and again.
Yeah.
But it was like a 2-minute speech.
Okay, well, speaking of that kind of, I almost was wondering, is this written by AI? Did somebody get some help from AI on this script? Because here's something I noticed about this movie. All of the really big events take place off camera. And then they just get in a car and talk about them. This could really be a play that takes place in a car. And maybe like a green screen off the side for a few cliffs of Dover shots or something. But
right.
But they just she has a baby. We see her. She just gets in the car and they're going out to dinner and she's like, yeah, I had a baby.
Right. And let's jump back to the test works for her. She gets a soulmate, and as with a lot of rom-coms or just roms. You don't get to know the soulmate.
No.
He's like a husband, obviously a father, and that's all you get, and a name. And then he just shows up in Lucas. And it's like, he shows up in some events. He seems very caring for Imogen Poots' Laura. And it's like, okay, so he seems nice. He's not like some evil, the soulmate AI test went wrong. She's got to get away from him. No, he seems really nice. And yet she still has an affair with Roy. I'm going to keep calling him Roy from Ted Lasso.
Right. Well, and one of the things that she ends up saying to her friend Andrea, I think that's when they're talking about, she says, but I'm still me. Yes, I got my soulmate. I thought it was going to make my life different, but I'm still me. And it's like, yes, you are still you, and you're not that great. And so if you're not having that great a time, maybe it's because you kind of stink. She comes in and after her father's funeral, which I really think that the actors were even starting to lose track of what scene are we on, because Brett Goldstein gets into her car for the funeral drive he's road trip kind of vibes. Right. And it turns out they're on their way to her father's funeral. So, but afterwards she bursts into his place and, has grief sex with him in the mud room or whatever, and then later accuses him of taking advantage of her. She's kind of awful, and the way it's written, she has a kid. She occasionally looks longingly at at a kid in a
Right, other children. That
other
reminds
children.
her, oh yeah, I got a family.
I do have a kid.
Whoops.
But she never like I feel like there was no woman or parent involved in writing this. She's just like, she never really has anything much to say about her kid. She's got some kind of a job that has something to do with books. And she's taking these giant like business trips once she and Simon start hooking up for real, which you were like, is this the fun and games? And I was like, I just wrote fun and games. The best part of the movie.
Right. That I had a problem with the fun and games is an affair. It's kind of, ugh.
Right. It's them finally hooking up, but she doesn't want to leave her husband or anything. But she's just kind of like going on these business trips. And I'm like, do they not have Find My Friend?
In this future?
Because
like future tech in phones is just going to get better. So it's like, oh, she's in a room with a man, as my phone is telling me.
Well, they only seem to go to remote locations. So what in the world kind of business trip?
No service.
What business trip is she claiming she's going to?
That her job was...
She's in a hut in the jungle, you know?
Right. The only kind of like You've Got Mail style, she's in a bookstore about to give a speech? And it's like, what is her job? Did I just blink and miss it? That's another thing. The time jumps.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, I had to look it up on IMDb. This movie takes place over 12 years. And to me, I'm like, I didn't get that. What I did get was jarring time jumps of, the character Simon had a beard. Now he's shaved. Now he's got a beard again. Oh, passage of time. Is it? Or did I just, fall asleep and missed a section?
I guess you saw the little girl grow up a little bit.
Oh yeah, notice that. It was like, I had a baby. Then, oh no, my father's passed away. There's a 6-year-old. It's like, what, how long did his...
Yeah.
There's a line from a film, I'm surprised you didn't burn your hand. You've been carrying that torch for so long. It's like, Simon, come on.
Yeah, and that's funny.
Thank you.
Well, I think I also wrote down torturing him is their kink. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
When they go to some place, which interestingly the word stag was in the name of the hotel, and then she just she's gonna try to have an affair with him, and then she leaves, and then he's kind of left stag, by himself,
right,
in the bar, but then she comes back, and I just think she just wants to make him a little bit miserable, and maybe she kind of gets off on that. Speaking of which, I'm starting to, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to be a little bit like, oh, here we go. I don't know. Yeah. A lot of these movies we're seeing, I feel like some of the sex scenes in a lot of these movies we're seeing, it just feels like this was contractual or something. And in order to make sure people watch this, we need we need this character's butt, and just you guys lean against the wall and just go a few times or something. I don't know. I mean, I remember the creepy sex scenes of the 80s, and it was all
and it was a different time, but I think now
love,
especially with the younger audiences, as they say, sex scenes in films is kind of cringe. It's like you don't really need it anymore.
It's starting to feel cringe to me, and if it's if you're gonna show me, if you're gonna make me if you're I feel like you need to see that we had sex. If the filmmaker's it's really important that you know that these two did it in the closet or whatever, then show me them eating. Show me them eating. I want chewing. I want condiments.
Right.
Show me the other things you did. If this is the one thing you need to show us is that they had sex, well then show me some sloppy eating too. I don't know. I think I'm starting to get bored of it.
Right. And other films can do it well, and it's just maybe start taking a shirt off, cut to the next morning. We get it. They done did it.
That's not us being old fogies. I just think nobody, I think it's unearned. Like,
Right.
like I think, there was that that show recently on Netflix, like called like Nobody Wants This or something, and Adam, the guy that was the good boyfriend on Gilmore Girls, the briefly good boyfriend, Adam. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Maybe he was on the OC or something too.
Oh no, I don't know.
Okay, well anyway, there's a good chance person watching this, if you're watching this, knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, he and Kristen Bell have this really great kiss. Like it kind of got talked about on talk shows and stuff like that. And there's like some hesitation leading up to it. And people were like, whoa, that kiss was amazing. I think even Kristen Bell's husband was like, oh my God, like, I want to kiss that guy or whatever. But I think part of it is like it was earned over that many conversations between those characters. And I feel like we were watching Big Bold Beautiful Journey. I feel like I saw Colin Farrell kind of try to do the try to slow things down and maybe capture some of that Nobody Wants This magic, but it wasn't earned. And I think these sex scenes are just kind of like, all right, sure. Sure, so you're going to remote places and having a lot of sex and joking around sarcastically at dinner, and you're kind of like, there's a point where Simon's like, people get divorced. It happens, even people with kids.
Right. I can't really stand that cliche of, I think at one point she says like, I'm not gonna leave my husband, and he's like, I'd never ask you to. And then the next scene, he literally asks her to. Like, we've had a passage of time, a few more like sex scenes and a few more random locations, and then it's like, people get divorced. So, yeah, he just can't move on. She can't help him move on. They have like a fight. Third act, we jump right back into bed together.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
This movie,
I honestly thought it was going to end... Oh, we should do our predictions.
Yes.
I honestly thought it was going to end with those two just going their separate ways and him finally getting over her going, you know what? This is not healthy.
And I guess to some extent, it does. But again, if she was able to travel this much...
Again, it's one of those things in movies. Nobody has a crap job. Nobody's dishwashing at Arby's. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has these weird, nebulous, fantastically paying jobs that we can just go to the White Cliffs of Dover, which I don't think you can. It's like, I was trying to get a hotel at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. I don't think that exists, but they certainly got some beautiful shots of two tiny people on a beach with the White Cliffs of Dover behind them. And then they literally walk to the end of the beach and there's a house. I'm like, I don't think that house exists, but maybe it does.
But why is California out of the question? You know, why is California out of the question? He's getting a job in California. Spoiler, So,
I don't think he goes because he's an idiot.
Well, it's just...
Can't give up the poots.
Yeah, he... Sorry.
Sorry. Oh, those poots. Can't give her up. You just want somebody to... I wanted Andrea to just smack him in the head and be like, wake up, man.
Andrea, justice for Andrea, having to watch this mess. Like, having to be set up with this guy only to watch, this whole thing play out with his obsession with her and her. She's like, what? I never noticed. And,
But the film was so annoying that we paused it and said, we're near the end of the film, third act, what's happening? Who knows? Where's this going? So we each wrote down predictions. We didn't tell each other what our predictions were going to be.
So what was yours?
All right. Well, at the start of the film, they have a double date. Oh. And I think that's where Andrea kind of susses him out. But he keeps talking about thruples. Mm-hmm. So my prediction was an interesting twist to this movie would have been Chekhov's thruple. He can't have Imogen Poots all to himself. She doesn't want to leave the husband. They become a thruple. Credits. I would have loved that. I would have been like, whoa, I didn't see that coming.
Well, I guess Lucas does say hey man, you guys have jokes I don't understand. I mean, I'm not doing his accent. His accent was like Irish or something. But you have jokes I don't understand. she's always better when you're in the picture. Like, things are fine, right? Y'all still see each other, right? Like, he was worried.
He was so nice. He was worried, like, we haven't seen you in a while.
Right.
Where have you been, Simon? Come over to the house more. And I wrote at the end of my twist, they become a throuple and Simon lives in the shed in the garden.
Like the tool that he is.
Yes. Exactly.
My prediction was the company, excuse me, the company is revealed to be a total fraud. There was no such thing as soulmates. It was less thorough than eHarmony. They sue.
Nice.
But I think that, they never really come back to the soulmate thing. The whole thing was just aimless.
Mm-hmm.
It was only charming. That one bit, I really think when they were in the restaurant and they were joking around how they could become drug dealers. Again, like...
Right, one sort of good, genuine, and they were laughing at what they were saying, so it was like really good acting. So you kind of believe their friendship, and again, it's just, you've already found your soulmate. Why are they not going to the next level? Like you said, because Imogen Poots is just the worst.
And at one point...
Laura's character, not Imogen Poots.
You're right.
But Laura's character is the worst.
At one point, I wrote down, she says, this is very grown up. Like, she looks out at, like, the dinner that they're having. She was like, this is very grown up. It's like, yeah, I don't think she wanted to grow up. I think she liked being connected to somebody who was hung up on her. Somehow it kept her connected to youth. She wanted all of it. But, okay, one thing I was going to say... So this was based on one episode.
Oh, right. We saw that in the credits.
I'm so sorry. We'll be wrapping this up. This was based on an episode called 12 Years from the series Soulmates, from an AMC show that Brett Goldstein had some connection to. It was a sci-fi romance series. So once again, we're taking something, whether it's the short story, like History of Sound, or was Big Bold Beautiful Journey, was that based on... I feel like we've had something else where people just tried to expand on something that, or maybe we just thought that should have been a short film. I think this was I don't know what the original episode was like, but I think they stretched it out of shape.
And we've mentioned this so many times. That would work as a great short story. And this one literally was a short story before they made it a movie.
Right, or an episode.
An episode, yeah.
And now it's a movie on TV. Ultimately, I thought that you and I were a better romantic comedy, or better, like we had more, you and me watching this movie is a better romantic comedy than this movie. That's what I thought.
We're, you can tell we didn't like it. And, if you have Apple TV Plus, what is it called? Sorry, Apple. What is your thing called? Apple Plus TV Plus. If you have that, just avoid it. You don't need to watch that. Shout out to, Platonic and the Studio. Watch those instead. Those are great. But this, I keep wanting to say All of Me, but that was a different film. All of You can go to hell. Yeah.